your indigenous and humble host, Sammy B. To my left, you already know who it is, Luisa L, the models.
Yo.
And on the bottom, we got my man John, the Don Sterling. You know how he do on the boards. And then, this guy needs no introduction. I know I say that a lot. You know what I mean? I say that a lot, but he really doesn't. He created a database for a lot of independent African American, Caribbean, minority actors, producers, writers, actresses, people who are in the production staff. It's known as the LinkedIn, I would say LinkedIn backstage IMDb database for minorities who are trying to break into this crazy industry. And he actually was a person who was I like to say, like myself, as you guys know, when I do the comedy and just trying to find different gigs in the acting, he I use the Craigslist. I say, you're a Craigslist actor because, when you go on to like the IMDb and those other databases, it's very hard to really connect with the director or the person because they're infiltrated with a lot of email or their contact information is not correct. So what he did, because he was a Craigslist-er as well, actor, producer, and him going on Craigslist, he actually connected with one of the writers, or I think one of the head writers for Lionsgate, which is actually his business partner, and they were able to come to connect. And he said, there's a lot of minorities who are not getting the opportunities, and they need to connect. And me and him have spoken about this, and he created a database, that's been going strong. I actually bumped into the database, and I said, I need to get this guy on because what he's doing is something that it's not really been done. It's really hasn't, especially for minorities who are trying to break into different acting roles and different acting gigs and don't know where to go, because the Craigslist route, again, that's short term, and the IMDb and Backstage and New York Access and all these other sites, it's short term, because it's hard to reach out to a lot of these producers and directors and writers through those platforms, and to have him engage in something that minorities can actually take hold. And really, it's not just, I wouldn't say even just minorities, people who are just looking for opportunities, in the acting. Luisa, you and I always speaking about going to these fake auditions or fake
oh my God, yes,
on Craigslist, you know what I mean? And so for him to actually create a database that is like more of a LinkedIn, and it maybe, you can throw Craigslist type there, but really authentic, where it's not screwing people over. And, he needs no introduction, even though that was a long introduction of indieblackfilm.com
Mr.
database. Anthony Johnson. Can I get a one-time soul clap one time for my man Anthony Johnson, publisher of indieblackfilm.com. And what's up, man?
How's it going, man?
How's everything, man?
Everything's doing great, man. Everything's doing great.
You know what I mean? Of course, when you're rich and you're in the sun, man, that's just how it is,
Nah. I'm just trying to get it like everybody else, man.
Cool. Let me jump into it. What's your background? Let's talk about how you kind of came up to being this publisher of this minority owned and by for minority database that connects content creators to the work that's out there.
Okay. All right. Well, first, I've always been around the entertainment industry because my aunt used to be, a couple major artist manager ever since I was small. Okay. And I've always been in that. And I used to be a rapper myself, an artist myself. Mm-hmm. So I came from that, and I've been a marketer for one of the biggest marketing companies, maybe for 15 years before I started this. So it kind of gave me the special, the speciality to know basically the plights of the actors and basically not even just the actors, as the creators this period. I was able to be, basically, as I moved up in the company and I learned everything as far as marketing, I decided to start my own company, but I wanted to niche down. And, you know, I'm coming from, believe me, we used to do lawyers. We would do anything you can name. From barbershops, we did like music. We would do artists. We would do film. You know, opportunity, a guy just came through. I ended up linking with somebody, like you said, which allowed me to, you know, you got to get it from the mud. So I did pro bono work to start. Just it in, and then I could understand the industry. What it is was when I got into the industry, I realized that, you know, they don't tell you guys anything. If you go on YouTube or if you go on these to try to go find out how to release a film or how to find an agent or something, it's a whole bunch of little bit of this, a little bit of that. You know, it'll be, hey, come find out this, and then come find out how to get a manager. And then you come there, they talk for 15 minutes, and then they're like, you know what? If you want to learn the real details, give me $199.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
Oh my God.
You know, so like, you know, and if you look at past episodes, me and Luisa have always spoke about, you know, us going, you know, I do the comedy stuff and then I do acting, you know, and then Luisa does the modeling. She also does acting. When we go into the Craigslist, actually, you was fortunate because you applied to a post on Craigslist. This is like a one-off. Luis, he applied to a post a while ago, a long time ago, and the head of the writer room of Lionsgate was looking for someone.
Oh, really?
And, yeah, his business partner, who's happened to be like one of the lead writers for Lionsgate films.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like one of the luckiest, if not, you know, once in a lifetime type of generation.
Anthony, verify this. Is this what happened to you?
You know.
So yeah.
Is this what happened to you? Tell us the truth.
Yeah, kind of something like that. What happened was, like you said, I'm deciding what niche I want to go into for my own company, and I've answered Craigslist ads before, as far as, like I said, web design, marketing, and I know that, you know, on Craigslist you have to be the first one to respond.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. You ain't never lie about that, man.
Out the work because they found somebody and they're not accepting anything.
Nope.
So what it was, he was offering to pay somebody. And also, if they wanted to, maybe get some points on the back end. So since it was for that, I said, you know what? You know, it was a shot in the wind. I said, hey, I'm Anthony. I'm from Top Floor Marketing. I'm starting my own company, and I would be willing to work and help you guys out for free, as long as, if you like my work, you give me a testimony. And, you know, he jumped on that because, like I said, I my money where my mouth is. If I feel like I can do it, then why do I need something up front? So, and again, I understand it helped me too, because I got to get into the experience, the in-depth details of the film industry. And you know, as you know, when you're working on a project, you work on a project for 12 months, 14 months, things like that. So, you know, I was able to run ads. We put out the complete project. Okay, so what happened with him was he actually is as a rewriter at like Lionsgate, right? And what happens when you're a rewriter, you kind of get whored around a little bit. Like you'll be on like BET set for 2 days, then you might go to MTV or something like that, and they'll pay you to rewrite. So he's already established. So what he did was, him and his partner decided to shoot their own movie. And so what they did was they shot it. They ended up using the connections they had to get the casting director, line producer, and they ended up shooting about 250, right? They shot it at 250. Now, because he has connections in the industry, he decides to take it straight to, you know, a couple of the studios, and they have this little algorithm. You know, I'm not going to say exactly what's in the algorithm, but their algorithm is pretty much on point on. So they'll say, hey, this is your movie. It has these actors. It has that in it. You put 250K, let's just say, if we put another 1.5 behind it, you know, we at around almost 2 million, and this movie should make 10 million. You understand? So it was something like that. Then he also went to like Netflix and the normal normal suspects. And what happened was they offered him something, but he wasn't willing to accept it. You know, it was something way less than what he shot it. He said, you know what? Since I happen to control it, me and our partner put the money down so we don't have to take anything because we got some investors breathing down our neck. Let's go ahead and let's try to market this ourselves. You know, so they did that. A year by, they still didn't find out nothing. And then that's when I came into the equation. So once we were able to actually drop it, we released it. we were able to gain traction, move it up the IMDb charts. He ended up getting the distribution. The film is getting re-released, and it'll be released next month.
Can I get a one time? Yo, that's how you do it, baby.
Anthony the billionaire Johnson. You know what I mean?
That's how you do it, baby.
You know
oh my God, that's awesome.
That's a great, that motivates me. After we're done, I'm gonna go on Craigslist and go.
No, that makes me feel like there's hope still.
You know what I mean? And see what's going on.
There's hope for me.
All right,
I can't give up yet.
All right,
Yeah,
so
there is hope. Okay, so the reason why I got into.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no. The reason why I got into this is because once I got to get in and get the inside information from working on the project, I realized that, it's the same thing as the music game that I'm coming from. It's just like, I look at the film as maybe like 10 years behind. But it's a theater coming to a theater near you real soon. So just like back in the day, an artist would have to get signed, they'll have artist development. If they didn't have beats, if they didn't have, if they didn't have the look, if they didn't have this, they would do that for them, put them on tour and blow them up.
Right.
But what happened was when the came in, and Master P and all of them, they couldn't get in the normal way. They became businessmen and did it themselves. So what happened when the streaming and all that stuff came in, the labels, like, we're not making money. So why not just get people who already put out their project themselves, let them sink or swim. And if it swims, we put more money behind it, we'll blow it. So it put creators in a peculiar situation where it's like, instead of creation, now you also have to be businessmen and businesswomen too.
Right.
Yeah.
Whole team that, and a lot of times we play that for ourselves, but just remember that as you being an actor, you need to work on acting and your skills. You need to work on your representation and finding jobs. But just look at, as you're trying to find jobs, you're not working on your craft.
Right.
So just right is trying to find somebody to find gigs. They're not writing at that time. So
you are literally oh my God. So I was just having this conversation, seriously, just like yesterday or the day before. Everything you're saying is completely spot on. And that's exactly how I'm feeling with everything I'm doing. And I started thinking to myself, like, how do I get behind being more of the businesswoman to really propel? And it's so true, because like, I don't even want to. It's like, I want to just only be the artist and focus on that. So I can't stress this enough to everybody listening. You need a good team. But now this leads me to a question, right? That we already touched upon a little bit, but and obviously blackindiefilm.com, this is a site you can go to, get your stuff up there, connect with the right people. But what's your advice for people trying to connect, like the artist who's trying to stay focused on what they do and, take the classes, the acting classes or whatever it is? Like, where do they go? You know what I mean? Obviously your site is one. Like, what other tips and advice do you have for that? Because I really don't know.
Okay. So first off, let's target with niche first, as far as the audience. So we have actors, that's one bucket. Then we have filmmakers, as in filmmakers who have shot something already. They have to do something. And then we have screenwriters. So which one are we talking about first? Just actors first?
Let's do actors, yeah, because I feel like, I mean, I don't know. There are a lot of people doing a lot of things, but actor seems to be like the generic, so as an example.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so, all right, so in the same situation, so these acting sites, like I said, you were telling like NY Casting and Backstage.
Backstage, right.
The reason why they're up is because you'll ever notice that most of those are, if not all of them, are always extra work, right?
Yes.
And so what it is this. It's like I said, I don't like to sell anybody any dreams. So if it's bad, I'm gonna tell you it's bad. If it's easy, I'll tell you it's easy. So long story short, in order to get the higher roles, like the main roles, the executive producer, normally that gets away from let's say we have an investor that put up 25% for the film. What they'll do is say, look, we'll put up this 25% and this will be pre-production film money for you to even get it off the ground. But because of that, my little cousin needs to play a main role. So a lot of times those main roles are already taken away because of whoever is the executive producer of the project, right?
Right.
That's, you know, when you go into a casting agent. So, okay, so to get the bigger roles, I would focus, if you're going to do the 80-20 rule, is on representation. Finding a way to get some, okay, so now representation. Now, these smaller gigs, you'll be able to get those. Again, as far as with our website, how I started with that, it just kind of came together because I have an email list and I have a, you know, even on the website of producers and filmmakers. So I have a direct connection of who are making the movies. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Right.
And since them and we built rapport, a lot of times they'll call and ask me, like, hey, do you have a blah, blah, blah? Do you have an African-American from this age to this age? And I'll send out a blast, and I'll either send out an email blast or I'll like put it on the website. We actually have a casting section. When we started, I would literally just go to casting agents and say, hey, we have a database. I have a whole bunch of actors, and we can help you actually get your roles filled. I started doing it for free. You understand? Like like a lot of stuff we were doing is like, if I connect you with a representation or something like that over here at Indie Black Film, that's on you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We don't take, but just able to leverage all of the filmmakers that I have, because who's the ones that's actually shooting it? But like I was just saying, the executive producers. So those are the ones that actually control who goes into the film. So having this database of so many African-American filmmakers, producers, you know, it came to the point that every other day I get, you know, they started asking us like, hey, do you have this? Do you have that? Because if we send out an email blast, you know, same thing. Okay, so we have a project, we have a project that we're doing a documentary.
Oh, wait. You're muted. Anthony, you're muted. Yeah. Say that again.
Okay. So, yeah, sorry about that. Somebody trying to. But we had a documentary we were working on, and they needed an editor. So we were able to send the blast. He found an editor to work in 2 hours. So that's kind of like what we do as far as with the acting. So when people make profiles, I was able to get, you know, I had somebody who hit me who I grew up with, and she didn't even have any headshots. She didn't have anything, honestly. I'm gonna tell you the truth. She made a profile on. I told her to make a profile, and I literally sent her the gig that I had. She ended up getting picked for the movie, and it started. So, you know, a lot of that, like I said, what it is networking. That's what people are not trying to do. Right. You know, it's so much noise on the internet. All they tell you is the same thing. They say, you know what? It's the internet. You can use the internet, use social media. But it's like nobody gives you any steps of what you could do. And so that's why, like I said, with the films that we put out, me even being able to work on that project coming from the marketing standpoint, it was like taking candy from a baby. I came in this, I don't even care about, you know, any of the bigger studios. I don't care about any of these people. They can't, you know, like a lot of the people they have on deck are spoon fed and they don't really even know what they're doing, but they have so much money to spend that, you know, it looks funny in the light actually. Afterwards. But, you know, you guys, I guess, okay, the main thing I want to say to you guys is, again, creators are going to have to look at yourself as a brand and as a business. So just as any other business, you are the talent, you need an accountant, you also need a manager, you understand? And you also need somebody to market whatever you're selling. Because the most important thing is you can be the best at anything, but if nobody knows it, no money. So you understand? I can have the best plumber in the world, right? But if nobody knows he's making no money, it's a hobby. Now, then again, I can have an average plumber who can market and he gets all the money. Like McDonald's is not the best hamburger in life, but they're the best at marketing in life. You understand what I'm saying?
So let me just interject. So with, you know, we're in a time right now, and I think you and I discussed this, where back in the 90s and early 2000s, there were like underground films, right? Put out by the labels like No Limit, Cash Money, Swab House, just a lot of like the labels back in the day, right? Rockefeller, stuff like that, you know. And you know, it used to be like a promotional for the CDs of the artists that they come out. So they would package it with the promotional they would package like a small short-term type of movie or DVD along with the artist's music. Now you have platforms that are able to monopolize all different types of content. And I'm looking at it like, okay, back then those type of DVDs put a lot of big names, people that we know now, the Michael Rappaports, the Little Duvals, the Kevin Harts, and now you have these platforms, but you're not really seeing like those, like, the next like those people have been able to cross decades, and stay relevant decades from starting out with being on like, I guess, white label or type of no label type of content. But now you have platforms where everybody should be kind of just rushing to it, and people are creating on these platforms, but I don't see the longevity that made those regular people, that I mentioned, as to have resiliency, the longevity that they've had. Why do you think that is? A lot of people say like the artists, they're disposable now, but I'm like, imagine if we had the platforms that they had back then, how many creators, that would have been able to suffice the length of time. I just don't see the longevity. Everybody's kind of like disposable. Are they talking about disposable rappers and disposable artists? Everybody's disposable now, but back then they weren't on high budget films and stuff, but they had the longevity. What do you think about that? Like, what's the dynamic on that?
Okay, so all right, so again, it goes back to the new way that the film industry is. People are gonna have to wake up and get with it. So the main thing is, a lot of these studio execs in the big companies, like, it's a new way of doing business. So first off, most of the bigger, first thing, let me tell you, the smaller budget, straight to DVD movies that we used to call back in the day,
right,
hotter than hotcakes. Just let you know that those movies sell more than the videos that went, the movies that went to Cannes or Tribeca, and they're like a 7 million, because a indie film goes up to about $6 million. So if you got a $2,000 film and then they got a $6 million film with Brad Pitt in it, it's kind of cheating. But the main thing is the studios know this. They're already dead in the water. They're not shooting those $100 million movies anymore. You know why? The only ones that they're shooting is always a recap of something that already came out. So it'll be a Fast and Furious 12. It'll be a,
right. Like a Batman Returns 5 times.
Exactly. Because they're lazy. Because they're saying, look, if we put this money up, there's already an audience that's there, right? And so those, and so they know that most of the movies that they shoot at that budget are not going to work unless they do that. So the what's keeping those movies up are like the Netflix and the Amazon Prime shooting their own films now, and they're almost like a kid in the candy store. They're trying to be legitimate in the film business, so they're doing what they think is what's supposed to do, is shoot $100 million movies, but they're not understanding that eventually they're going to stop that and go back to purchasing content. Content is king right now. So I can advise that anybody is, you want to keep as much of the royalties and the licensing as you could keep for yourself. That is where the money is at. Honestly, back in the day, right, you used to have to get a distributor for your film. You know why? Right. Because it was a Blockbuster, Hollywood Video, things like that.
Yeah, it's monopolized.
Shelf. There's only limited shelf space. So in order to get that limited shelf space for your film, you had to go through a distributor. Fast forward to today, right? Distribution is almost a commodity. Like, we have Amazon Prime, we have Netflix, we have places, iTunes, which now that's unlimited, and anybody can put it on there themselves. So that same benefit that they had before, that was the main benefit of the distributor, because you know how they play it. They say, hey, we're going to do this. We put this amount behind P&A for your film. We're going to market it. And then, you come back and they didn't do any marketing. All they're really doing is putting it on the platform, and then you still got to market it yourself to get any traction. And even worse, they take your film for 17 years and all licenses. So to go get those numbers in accounting, they say that's not on you. Every day they say, you know what? We made $20,000 on the film, but we happen to spend 35, so we don't owe you anything, right? And that's what we're doing the whole time. So this is the thing. There's always two avenues if I have somebody making a film. You could go the studio way, which we have investors that will invest in films. Now, the problem is you either have to go big completely or do a smaller budget. There's no in between. So you either want to go 5 million, 10 million, 15 million, 25 million, because that's where the main investors in the studio. You could go the straight studio way, or you want to do 100,000, 200,000, 250 and shoot it. Now, if you're going to go the way of the studio, anybody can help you. I can help you if you have what's called your package together. If you have your show Bible and your package together, then we can introduce you to investors or people who actually find investors for you. They don't charge anything up front. It's illegal for them to charge up front to raise money for you. They only get paid like a lawyer if they're able to raise the funds. But since they're doing that, I have to make sure that your package is correct, because they would just be wasting their time if they're not going to be able to raise your money. And I'll tell you, one thing is the most important thing in the package. Don't listen to these people. They say, go get the marketing logistics of the film. Go look at the film that's similar to yours and the box office numbers, or, how you're going to distribute it with theaters. They don't care nothing about that. First off, they're investors and they do it in film. 9 times out of 10, they already have distribution in place for any film that they're going to go at. They have a theatrical release already in place. They already know all of the numbers of the films. The only thing and the most important thing that matters is your cast. And you're going to need at least 1 to 2 of as we say, A-list celebrities, because you would get what's called an LOI, right? Now the LOI say that the actor is actually going to do it, because these investors know that nobody's going to actually jump out the window until they have money. But all they need to know is the LOI. The LOI says, hey, look, Anthony is raising a film. He's trying to shoot a film. If he's able to raise the money, I might take a look at the script. And those investors are fine with that, because what it is a lot of these people have money and they know that Brad Pitt or is this many or $2 million, let's just say. Now, I'm not saying that that's what it is, but let's just say it's $2 million. They have $2 million to get Brad Pitt. The problem is Brad Pitt may be booked for the next 4 years. So they're not going to give you that money and have to wait 4 years. So you giving them a LOI, a letter of intent, shows that maybe at least this person at least is, they're not just blowing smoke of myself. You know what I'm saying? They're not saying anything. They at least must have some type of connection. So what you would do is, and I find people it's the chicken and the egg. Like, you need somebody, but you need money. You understand what I'm saying? So you get the money to shoot the film. You need that to get it. You understand? And so what happens is somebody jumps in, and it's somebody that knows about film. They end up jumping in for since the person put everything else together and they're missing those 2 people, they'll jump in for pennies on the dollar and end up taking your whole project from you, because they'll say, look, I hired a casting director. I got the LOIs. Without that, you're not even getting the film made. And that's a thing that I want to get people to know as far as being creators. I feel that empathy. That's why I wanted to do it from being, like I said, from artists. You worry so much about the craft and the creativity that you're not realizing that, yes, this is a business. So if you're not
to really cut you off. So somebody who doesn't have money, but they, especially a lot of minorities, they don't have money like that. And even, the 200,000, 250,000 on an independent flick, like how are they able to transition? If I'm coming from a small country, a small country town or whatever, and I'm
Okay, no, and I got you. So look, that's the little secret that nobody seems to hear, right? What's happening is, yes, you hear 250,000 to shoot the film, but remember, most of the times, if you're going to go to one of those real investors, they're going to want to spend some real money. It's going to be at least $10 million, 20. But to get the small investors, to get investors, period, what you don't understand is you don't need that money up front. You need, because this is what the investor's going to do. They're going to come in, spend about $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, and they're going to hire a casting director that they already got. Or they're going to go to a casting company. If you go to a reputable casting company, they'll give you a letter, and then the person doesn't even need the names. They just understand that the company that you're going with represents blue, blue, blue. So they'll give you the money just because of that. So what I'm saying is a lot of times it's not as much money as you think to get it started. And what you do is, since you're thinking that it's a lot of money, you're cutting people in that's going to take your whole project, and they might have, because what it'll be is, let's say I have a casting director, and there's casting directors, I can get you to that. If you look at their IMDb, they have everything. So when you go to them, the difference is if you reach out to some of these actors directly, they're going to give you the Hollywood, the out of town price. But if you go to one of these casting directors and then you hire them, now you're the boss. See, that's the thing I want people to understand. You don't want to penny pinch as much as you like you want to get what you can get, because now you're the boss of them. And you say, look, I know you might be $15,000 for this project, but I'm an executive producer and I'm trying to raise the money. So what is the deposit I need to put down so that I can get a LOI so that I can get the rest of this money? So if it was $15,000, they might say 4,000. They might say 5,000. Now you give them 5,000, they get you the letters you need, or they get you the company you need. Now, in reverse, if you don't put up that money, or you don't, like, let's say, so I'm saying at $5,000, something simple. People think that it's something crazy, like, you know, I mean, depending on you might be like 3 bands or something. Just know that you don't have to pay for everything up front. All you need is that LOI. And then, you know, when you talk to them, say, look, I'm actually raising the money for this film. So if you charge 10, you charge 15, what is your deposit to get me this LOI so that I can go get this money? And they'll be happy. And they'll also understand you speaking their language. Because a lot of these people don't, creators, because they understand the main thing that comes up is, you know, my film is so great, you know, it's the best, you know, creatively is great, but they're understanding they're talking to the investor, and the investor doesn't care anything about that. They don't care. They don't care about your film. You know, they really care about how much is it going to take $1 to $2, and more importantly, you know, at least make my money back. So a lot of times we're talking, the creators are talking in, you know, the camera angles, and this is the best film that ever came out because of all this garbage that's out now. They understand this garbage out now, but what it is these garbage films put up their own money to actually shoot it, and then they released it on a small release, maybe for 2 months, which like I said, for the amount of money we spent, I can't tell you the amount of money we spent to blow up the film that I'm talking about, but just know that it was very reasonable. It was less than $1,000. Just know that. And that was
less than $1,000.
Was to take a film that was getting offered something like 100K to now getting however much. And it's the same thing with music. That's why it's so perfect. It's like they're always, if you don't have leverage, they're always gonna Jew you. You know, you understand what I'm saying? They're always gonna take you down, because it's like you're approaching me.
Right.
Need you. You know what I'm saying? So you take whatever you got. So people ask me like, hey, I have a film. It doesn't really have anybody in it. Can you get me in front of a distributor or something? I say, yeah, there's no problem with that. But I just want to let them know, like, you know, if you don't have what you're supposed to have when you go take this meeting, what's the purpose of taking a meeting? That's like me
just wasting everybody's time. Yeah.
Yeah, you're wasting both your times, because what it is this. Let's say, hey, I got a job as a computer programmer. All you need is a bachelor's. You don't have a bachelor's. Yes, I know I can get you the job, but once you go into the interview, you know, what's going to happen? You don't even have what you need. So that's a lot of times. See, if you have a film, there's something called the AFM, right? The American film market. It happens every year and in November. And during that, it's not a film festival. It's actually a film market. This is where they buy and sell films. And all of the across the world come there to buy films. So it's not even like they're hiding from you. They're not hiding from you. What it is like you said, you have to speak their language. What it is it's 7 days. They are in a hotel. And for those 7 days, all of the furniture is taken out the hotels and they're turned into offices. Now, all of the big distributors, not just distributors, let's say, you know, because like airlines need films, there, and
they need better films at that. Let me tell you, some of the selection, I'm just like, wow, this is crap.
Is those just happen to be the only people who actually put their money where their mouth is and shot it and put it out. Because what I'll let you know is, if you do have a little bit of a budget to actually shoot the whole film yourself and then do a little bit of a marketing campaign, you don't need big stars. In fact, you can go with YouTube stars, because like I said, once we, you know, here's another little trick. when you're making your films and you making like your trailers and stuff like that, you know, you make a couple trailers picking the whole scheme of the film. But what you really need to do, you need to find out who out of your cast is going to be the money draw. So what you'll do is, I told him, I said, look, you have 6 characters that people might know. I need you to cut 6 different trailers. But let's say the first actor, I need all of the trailer to be majority his scenes. Then the second actor, I need all of the trailer to be their scenes. And so what we were able to do is run ads to, let's say if it's, you know, if it's an actor that is a star in a film, and then somebody is following them, the film, on Facebook or something, you can pretty much guess that they like that actor. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Right.
So saying that, now you're not wasting time just showing it to people who is not going to be interested.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? So that's what we ended up doing. And again, everything goes by the IMDb, and the rating is like the Billboard charts. So you check every week and you see he moved up about 400,000 spots, and then the film moved up about 40,000 spots. And that was nothing. That was just in a week. Once we actually hit it, it went up more. But just know that I have films that, you know, if it's funny, or, you know, if you can clip it, that don't have main actors in it, and they actually, you know, they actually sorry about it. Actually just, can you see me?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yes, and but the thing is, they might have a 30-second clip that's really, really funny. So it's a lot of the YouTube stars, but I was able to run ads to it, and, you know, thousands of people. And like, that was probably a better ad than some of the famous people. But like I said, if you're, so it depends on which way you're trying to go. The main thing is you have to decide from the beginning, whether you're a screenwriter, whether you're a filmmaker. All right, am I cool with being an employee? And if I am the employee, just know that somebody was the executive producer who raised the money, and he's going to be the one in control. So sometimes he's going to make decisions that don't make sense from our standpoint. But
right. Which makes
make those decisions.
No, but that makes sense. I've always known that the executive producer, the money, that's the bag man or bag woman. So they're gonna call the shots. They signing off on the bag. So I mean, but like as far as just the consistency of more work coming on for people, you know what I mean? Like, it's a hustle. You know, how can people connect?
Yeah. It's a hustle. So look. All right, so everything again is going, okay, so you have a reel, you have your IMDb. I mean, IMDb is going to be gold standard. That's what they're going to look, because we already know how the IMDb is. And, you know, but let's say you don't. All right, you got to start getting those roles. A lot of the roles that were found, you can find those simple roles on like Instagram. You understand what I'm trying to say? Like, have you ever tried to go Instagram and just put cast and call Miami, cast and call whatever? Right?
Yeah, but you know what? So is that reliable though? Because like, I feel like I do that. So like, I model as well. And like, I do that too. And, you know, I put together a lot, like basically everything on my Instagram, I orchestrated, because like I style myself, makeup, all this stuff. And I feel like that with the casting calls and everything, I don't know, like, you know what I mean? How reliable is that for?
First off, the thing, avoid the scams, because there are scams. So avoid they're like, come in, you know, now they're like, oh, but you're going to need some pictures, but I need you to, like, no. First off, you shouldn't, a job you shouldn't be paying for. You understand what I'm trying to say? Not paying to get a job. They should be paying you. Right. That's first thing from the beginning. So there are jobs there. See, but the thing is, it's the consistency. What I would advise, because a lot of us doing so many different things, is maybe you hire somebody for an hour a day, 2 hours a day, just to do nothing, but every single day. It's more about the consistency than anything. If you go on Instagram and try to check, or like, you know, with Craigslist, again, you try to check one time this week, then, you know, you forget about it, then 2 weeks later,
you're never gonna get it.
Yeah, exactly. There's a certain momentum that you got to have for still doing it. So that's why you need a manager or some type of because that's why you're not doing it.
And you know what? I'm going to ask you this now, because this is something that I'm personally currently looking for as well. And I'm sure a lot of people listening to this, if you're in the arts and in the industry at all, you are too, is a manager. So I went to Google, I did my searches, I went to all these different little things, and it's the same exact thing, just like you said before, where the internet gives you no information, or they give you the scams, or they give you the, oh, talk to you for 10, 15 minutes and go, oh, well, now you got to pay me for, So where do we go to find credible, competent managers that will help us? Where do we go?
Well, okay, and so look, all right, so indie Black film aside, our database is a little bit, because like I said, our database is for you guys. We don't charge anybody anything. We don't charge the casting director. We don't charge the actors. Really, it was more connecting people together. Honestly, like you said, okay, so first, before I say anything, if you need representation or something like that, make sure when we get off, reach out to me directly. And I do know people that I could connect you with. Again, so that's so let's say
that's
that first.
That's a
can
fact.
I get
Can
I get a free time? Woo!
One time, so clap for that.
Can I get a 5-star?
Yeah, but again, let's say for everyone else who doesn't have somebody like myself that
for everybody else listening.
Nobody wants to hear this. It's like, look, we have a boxing match in 2 months. Today you're gonna run for an hour, and then we're gonna do. And you feel what I'm trying to say? So,
yeah.
Get a presentation. So you're gonna have to beat the payment, and and like I said, a lot of them are gonna be more like LinkedIn. Like, you see what I'm saying?
Okay.
And this is another thing you might want to do. You gotta just, people are mostly selfish. They worry about themselves mostly, right? You feel what I'm saying? So even if you do something that could help their life, unless you are able to articulate in a way that they even gonna listen to you, then they're not even gonna hear it. Sometimes when you're reaching out to some of this representation, or you're reaching out to people, it's you kind of want to make yourself of service. You understand what I'm saying? Like,
be easy to work with, even because a lot of people are very not easy to work with.
Oh my God! See,
and they come with ego and everything, and it's just like,
yeah. And a lot of those people, you're gonna get gatekeepers too, depending on how high you get. But there's a level, like you said. More importantly, you're gonna have to find. You can find it. I just want to let you know, it's like searching for gold. You can find it if you want to do that. Now, again, you guys, anybody that is, wants to go that way as far as representation, because that's what we do. We don't represent people. I literally, like I said, I just connect a lot of the things we have done, because we can make money other ways. So a lot of the things we, other people charge for, we don't charge for, because, like I said, we make money other ways. That doesn't, it's of being a teacher. And like I said, I have that empathy for you guys, because you creators. So I want you guys to be able to create, and then not have to worry about sending out 50 emails a day. Because other than that, so you get that representation, you are gonna have to do that.
Honestly, I've cried so many days. I've been crying. The last week I've cried twice. Like, I'm telling you, it's just I listen. Let me tell you something. I'm gonna have a mental breakdown right here on the show. But I need everybody to hear this. I need everybody to hear this, because it's so true. Like creators, all of us, we all go through the emotional ups and downs. And like, just, I'm not even kidding you. Like this happened for a reason today. I was on, whatever messenger with my friend. And I was like, listen, I'm going to give up all my dreams in about 0.5 seconds. And they're like, well, really, what's the alternative? And I was like, damn, you're right. So I guess I'll hold on a little bit longer. That's the conversation, the internal conversation.
And that's why like I want to, and that's like I said with the creators, I don't want you guys to think that it's you. That's because that's what it is. Like, same thing with artists, with rappers, with singers. You come out, you're very, very talented. You have people around you who know nothing about the industry or how it's working, and they have their own. Everybody has an opinion, and they say, you should be doing better than you are. You must not be putting in the work. But they're not understanding. Like, no, we're in a whole different industry. They're just not buying. Nobody's working. Like, I gotta, and it sounds like an excuse to them. So,
oh my God, it's you're literally my whole life. Like, all these things are my whole life.
Yeah, and then those same people that are friends and family don't even share your stuff. Don't even
my God.
What I'm trying to say. They act like it's the hardest thing in the world to hit a like button. But
and then your auntie goes, I'm a little worried about you. Maybe we should get you back in school. I'll pay for you to take the LSATs. And I'm like, okay.
What I want to do, honestly, because now not just okay, so we're making the database as far as, because we have more than just actors in there. I got filmmakers, like I said, I got screenwriters, I got investors, I got casting agents. So that what I really want to do is, the problem with most people and these people is the money, right? The money is the problem, because you have like no matter what we go around, they can have this symptom and that symptom, but it always comes back to, I don't have no money to shoot my film. You get it? And a lot of the actors end up turning to filmmakers and stuff on the point of just getting gigs, which honestly is not a bad idea. But again, now you have to put yourself, I can't give you, 10 years worth of game in an hour, but you have to put yourself in that position to say, you know what? I am the creator, and I'm not going to let somebody come in. I put my blood, sweat, and tears, some little bit of money in, and then now they control everything.
Right.
I have to jump when they say jump. If there's a creative control or something in the project that needs to, be weighed, they have the final,
Right.
It's on them. It's not.
And that's your second mental breakdown right there, because the first one was, how do I do it? The second one, you think you're in it, and now you just gave it all away.
Exactly. Now you're just in the wind. Like you said, you spent however much money raising it. You spent how many years actually getting it from production, and now they took everything. I'm gonna tell you the truth. Most 90% of these people's contracts, which I'm not gonna speak in any specifics, but they don't make anything back. They don't get a $500 check after 5 years.
What?
You understand? And just know that these deals not what you think it is. They spread it over 2 years or whatever it is, but a lot of the main small, again, I can't speak in specifics, but some of these deals as low as $2,000. So
no,
again,
I think that's definitely a conversation that we need to speak about later on. That's like a whole nother topic. You know what I mean?
We need to have you back. We need to have you back, Anthony.
That's like a whole nother with the payments and payment arrangements and the points and everything. That's a whole nother game. But Ant, man, thank you for coming on, Anthony Johnson, episode 21, the Cast podcast. Can I get a soul clap? One time, soul clap for Mr. Anthony Johnson at indieblackfilm.com. Yo, what's the social? What's the social that they can come check you out at?
It's at 703 Deuce. It's at 703 DEUCE. Okay, you'll see owner of Indie. And the website is Indie Black Film, not with an S, film.com. And you can reach out to him there. Anthony Johnson, man, thank you for coming on the cast, episode 21. Can I get a soul clap one time? Is there any parting words you want to just leave people, just to let them know? So look, whether you are an actor and, or a filmmaker and the film is done, or you're still in screenwriting phase, get in contact with us. You understand? I'm a lot busier now because, like I said, we got the show. I got the show on Fridays. Check that out. But get in contact with us, and then I can directly, help you. Sometimes it's not about the money. Like I said, I have to go with my schedule. But like sometimes people say, look, I just don't have it. I just need you to, tell me about my situation, and I got you. So hit that. Come contact us. And if you have anything that's done that would like to be on Indie Black Film TV, also submit that. If you have screenplays that you also need maybe literary agents or actors, contact us with that. And shout out to everybody, Indie Black Film, and our partners at 4th and 1. To Allah, again, watch Friday at 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. City Buzz Radio. Yeah, definitely, Anthony. You're gonna get so many people inundating you with so much offers, so much everything. You're gonna be swamped. You're gonna have your interns be like, I'm gonna take care of it. All that stuff.
Thank you so much, honestly, for like all of your direction, all of your gems, your wisdom. Man, you really did. You, really appreciate it. That.
Anthony Johnson, indieblackfilm.com. I'm Sammy B, along with Luisa L and John the Don Sterling on the boards. We are the Cast podcast. Stay blessed. Be blessed. We all have a voice and opinion, just how you use yours. Peace.